At the conclusion of the last 66 million years, during the Cretaceous era, the planet perished. Everyone is aware that this is a dinosaur. Occurred as a result of a global disaster. However, what actually transpired following the global extinction, I made the decision to re-enter time to investigate for myself, and in the end, everything was as expected. Totally unaccustomed to what we're used to believing that we'll be visiting a planet on which humanity have not yet stepped on a planet that was nearly wiped out by following a meteor hit, you'll learn which of the Earth's earliest occupants instantly, and you'll see who was in charge to survive. You must understand what climate the adjustments they had to make, and that the planet was recovering from a terrifying disaster end of the Mesozoic period. A massive comet or asteroid struck the Earth. Scientists continue to disagree on this. This celestial body's diameter was between 11 and an odd 80 kilometers, or from 7 and 50 miles, which is the average, possibly the size of the city of when one of the edges of the asteroid had already impacted the Earth. The other end was still above the Boeing 747's flight area. Such a collision could not go unnoticed. A massive crater was left by the asteroid. Half of the Gulf of Mexico was covered by it. Thus it's understandable why the crater's diameter is of 93 miles, or 150 kilometers, and a depth around 20 kilometers or 12 miles. This wasn't the first time our paths had crossed. It is both a planet and a celestial body, yet at one of the biggest in the world. The impact's nature quickly changed. Massive tsunamis can reach heights of more than the height of 330 feet or 100 meters. Area of present-day Texas in Florida. According to other reports, the height is 300 or meters. 985 feet, for instance, is the height. Eiffel Tower, and other people assert that the first wave peaked at 1.5 meters, taller than 9/10 of a mile or kilometers. The asteroid and 5 Eiffel Towers. So much ocean water was displaced that the coastline was pounded by enormous waves for 10 hours, and this is just the beginning. In the event that the influence had, if the tsunamis had been deeper, the explosion that ensued was even taller. About a minute before, the celestial body dropped 100 million times more potent than the renowned Tsar Bomba nuclear weapon. Within thousands of kilometers, woodlands many hundred kilometers were obliterated in just a moment. According to some scientists, the explosion was 100 trillion times greater than that. It took tons of TNT to completely demolish. The 12-point earthquakes were triggered by the shore, as well as landslides up until Argentina, and these in turn brought about fresh tsunamis. Chain of genuine horror, impossible to if you were to find yourself in its path. But this was just the start of the catastrophe. The vigor that when an asteroid hit the Earth, it was sufficient to set the environment on fire inside a 1,500-kilometer range, or even enormous dinosaurs, like died Diplodocus. People who were spared the blast or were dragged away by the water or flames. Vanishing waves, small rock fragments, then other pieces were hurled upward. Geologists who afterwards entered the atmosphere have discovered these pieces all throughout because following being blown into the air particles. Roughly 40 minutes later, they started to drop quickly and looked like heated glass shards. They had kinetic energy equal to 20 million megatons of TNT. Total was transformed each time a fall into heat. An atom became glowing. They rapidly warmed the lamp jointly. The Earth's atmosphere came to exist. In reality, the bulk of dinosaurs were savage, and there were significantly more terrestrial organisms in the impacted region. Following either a tsunami or an earthquake killed them. After many hours of extreme heat, the planet that was once covered in woods, about 75 of them almost immediately caught fire. The destruction of living things, including any animal that weighs more than 25 Acid rain 55 pounds or kilos oxidized the plant's oceanic half-species perished quickly or within a few hours worth of combined fire and soot with impact-related dust blocking the earth was robbed of sunlight. Approximately a year of sunlight substantially ultimately had an impact on the climate. The plants that were able to endure the impact also perished following these enormous then, by some miracle, herbivores survived. Water ecosystems and predators were also damaged but not entirely. For instance, turtles and the crocodile's forefathers successfully avoided. Some researchers referred to as the environment at the time Moon as it was, bleak and desolate. It was incredibly difficult to survive in such, but life on our planet didn't adapt to them. As I said, halt, all the large animals died, and the survivors started to bring back the foraminifera to the area. Who recovered these initially are creatures with a solitary cell that are found in a few years following the hit, the crater. Then, in a short while, the ferns awoke. They had the capacity to grow and almost completely fill the area that was left, but the huge mammals faced a different. Conditions were bad and food was scarce. Consequently, only little animals that weigh less than 600 grams or more, or 1 and the area were 3/10 of a pound roaming. There were only a few blossoming ferns. World's plants and nourishing seeds. However, after 100,000 years mammals shrank to a rat's size. The palm trees took the place of the ferns. More food was available in the world's woods, slowly reverting to normal. Too many tens of thousands of years later, the palm era was superseded by the era of pecan pie. Obviously pies were made back then, but they're unlike plants, which indicates that there was far healthier nourishment for mammals. Benefited from this range of species grew by around 3 times. The tallest people measured 55 pounds or 1 kilogram. This is the moderately large beaver's weight, or it appears that animals have evolved, gazelle, and finally, roughly 700,000 plants. After some time, beans appeared, and this is considerably more significant than it first appears. Beans appeared to be a protein at first. Bars for extinct mammals. They additionally, the creature's size was raised, and at the variety of species at the same time. Currently, the incoming leaders of the planet was over 50 kilograms in weight or 110 pounds, which is about a person. Ancient creatures with huge current cheetahs weighed 1,000 times more than their ancestral forefathers who inhabited the ferns, and yes, it had only been less than 1,000,000 years. For a person or any other animal, that is, but for evolution it's been a very long time. Nothing retrieved much more from the waters. Slowly, according to scientists, it took only after around 3 million years did organic material flow returns to a typical new species occupied the vacated. Ecologists study ecological niches. Think of birds as one of the few, the non-avian dinosaurs, that have survived. Only a small percentage of relatives passed away. Very certainly still adapted lizards. They can dive, swim, or look for. They found refuge in wetlands water. Several types of birds can construct nests on the. All of this was beneficial to their adapting to the evil of the past. As a result of what is going on around them, life on Earth gradually got back to normal. Evolution produced the emergence of humans. Wouldn't have done this with no asteroid impacting the planet. We can say that it served as a human trigger. Nonetheless, what would occur if such a new calamity occurred? But you already knew that. Have a basic understanding of a new onslaught wouldn't be able to save humanity. The Earth would be visible from space. Positively recover. Life continues. Even if we're talking about concerning occurrences that took place tens of back millions of years, scientists today know a good deal about them. This made possible by both fossils and various earth and stone samples. For example, from the ancient people's bones, scientists have studied lizards and mammals. Discovered the end of the dinosaur era. It took a while to realize this. If you enjoyed the video, click like. Don't forget to sign up for the, if you haven't already, channel, and click to hear the bell in time alerts for fresh, intriguing videos that are anticipating you up ahead.